All right, welcome back to ARC Salt Lake, where we cover authentic, relevant, and community stories. One person in Davis County has died from the West Nile virus, and 16 have been diagnosed with the virus statewide.
Well, we have state epidemiologist Dr. Leisha Nolen here this morning with how to protect yourself from West Nile, and we'll talk a little bit about vaccines, including the flu shot. But first of all, what about West Nile? Do we have deaths from West Nile very often here in Utah?
We do sporadically. Unfortunately, it is a virus that we know is in Utah, and occasionally we get bad years where someone can die or a number of people get sick.
And that's the one from the mosquitoes,
yes, right. So
Okay.
this is a virus that you can get from mosquito bites.
All right, so 16 cases statewide, but you were saying during the break, this is a pretty underdiagnosed illness, too.
Yeah. Happily, most people who get West Nile virus don't get that sick. They feel like they kind of have the flu. They get a fever, a headache, they feel achy, but they don't get sick enough to go to their doctor. So we know most people who get this infection don't ever go in and get care.
Is there anything like the flare-up from a bite? If you get a mosquito bite and you're scratching it, is there anything like looking at it to say that it's different?
No, it isn't. Unfortunately, you can't tell. The bites are it seems like any other bite you get, but usually it's about 2 to 3 days later people start to get symptoms. Most people are going to just get over it on their own. It's very unusual to actually get sick, but unfortunately when we have so many people, so many mosquitoes, there's going to be some people who do.
Do we know why some are susceptible to more of a severe illness with West Nile?
So certainly there are people who have underlying medical conditions like diabetes, different medical issues. They're more likely to get more sick. Also, older people are more likely to get more sick.
And I would imagine that, look, we all like to protect ourselves against mosquitoes because they can just be annoying, but taking the proper steps here can also prevent a potential serious illness. Can you go over some of those basics to protect yourself?
Yeah, for sure. None of us want to get bit by mosquitoes,
Right.
but this adds one more layer of why not too. So making sure you wear long clothes if it's not too hot out. Wear some clothes so you don't get mosquito bites. Wear the DEET or mosquito repellent so they don't bite you. Other things you can just do around your house is make sure you don't have any standing water. Anything that's maybe a little pot with water on it, that's a perfect place for those mosquitoes to breed, and then they can come and bite you. So draining all that kind of stuff, making sure you're just trying to protect yourself against mosquitoes, whatever you can.
Check your bird feeders and any tires or buckets or anything that have that water they
that
can
little
get
bit of
into.
water.
What are the symptoms of West Nile? Because they mimic a lot of other symptoms, right?
Yeah. The general West Nile is very generic. It looks like you have a cold. It looks like you have the achy flu type stuff. People we want to go and see their doctors when they start getting those really severe things, where they get confusion, when they get unbearable headaches that they really just can't deal with, when maybe they're having problems with coordination. Those are the kind of symptoms we want people to go to see their doctor for, no matter what the cause. So that's what to watch for.
So West Nile, what does it attack? Does it go to the brain or?
Yeah, the symptoms we usually see in people who get severely here is meningitis, where it's the infection of your spinal cord and your brain, or even direct infection of your brain.
Okay, and this morning we're reporting that there was a confirmed case of measles in Grand County. Is measles still a problem in Utah?
Yeah, certainly measles is a problem. We know that there's been a number of people who've been exposed and are getting symptoms down in the southern part of the state. We're really working with those communities, with that state, that part of the state, to try to get people as protected as possible and not have it spread. But I think it's reasonable to think that we will have additional cases here in Utah.
Can you talk about how contagious measles can be?
Yeah. Measles is the most contagious virus we know of, in fact.
Okay.
It's one of those things, one person walks into a room and 80 to 90% of the people, if they aren't protected in that room, are going to get the virus. So happily, most of us, the vast majority of Utahns, are protected. We've had our vaccines. But those people who aren't, they are very susceptible, and if they get exposed, it's fairly likely they'll get sick.
You say most in Utah are, what's the percentage of people who have the measles vaccine?
So we know in little kids that about 90% of kindergartners have the vaccine. But as we get older, most of us who are in the older population got it. So it's hard to estimate the entire population, but we know it's well over 90% for the entire population.
But the little bit that didn't can infect a lot of people.
Yeah, and they can spread it really well. And vaccines are something where it's a community work, where the vaccine, no vaccines are perfect. Nothing's perfect, right? So to make that vaccine even more perfect is by surrounding everybody with the vaccine so we can protect each other. And by making sure nobody can get the infection, none of us are at risk. But when we have those few people who aren't vaccinated, it means that we increase the risk for the whole community.
Okay, it's September now. We're approaching the fall and winter months.
Yep.
Cold and flu season, correct?
Indeed.
So let's talk about the flu shot. When's a good time to get it? Do you still recommend it? Go through some of that basic info.
It is definitely, we're starting to see slight bits of people getting flu. It's the time of year when it happens. Usually here in Utah, we see most people starting to get it in October, which means we recommend getting the vaccines this month or the early next month, just so that you're protected as it starts up and then protected throughout the whole winter.
And the flu shot protects against, they change it every year, right?
Yep. We keep monitoring, the whole world watches what viruses are circulating to see what is the best thing going to be protected against. So it is very specific to the type of virus that's circulating at this time.
And what about COVID?
And the COVID vaccine also is out, and it is recommended for people who are over 65 or people with medical conditions. The medical conditions are quite broad, and it's certainly something you should talk to your doctor about getting. I think a lot of us are now used to getting those vaccines and really trust them, and it's important to continue to have that protection if you need it.
So you can just ask your doctor for a prescription?
You can get,
Okay.
prescription, yep.
For that COVID vaccine.
Right.
Okay.
Well, Dr. Nolen, thank you for coming in. A lot to talk about this morning.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
yes.
Some good info across though as well.
Thank you.